The teachings of Rabbi Ephraim Sprecher, Dean of Students at Diaspora Yeshiva on Mount Zion, Jerusalem.
Yesterday's reading, we'll try to tie the Parsha to Hanukkah. In yesterday's reading, Yaakov has an all-night wrestling match with whom? With the Yetzer Hara. Right? We all wrestle with our Yetzer Hara. We all wrestle with our personal demons in times of crisis. And Yaakov asked the Malach, what is your name? What does it mean, what is your name? In Judaism, a name is not Tom, Dick, or Harry. A name is the person's essence. Your name in Yahadut is your essence, your who I am. So Yaakov was asking the Yetzer Hara, what is your essence? What makes you tick so I can defend myself against you? So he answers him, Lama zeh tishal l'shmi? Why are you asking my name? So Rashi says, we have no name. Because the Yetzer Hara is just what? Fake news. Yiddish? Look in Rashi. We have no name. The Yetzer Hara is the ultimate virtual reality. It's a figment of our imagination. It's all hot air, smoke and mirrors. Lama zeh tishal l'shmi? Isn't that amazing? So the Torah is not telling us ancient history. The Torah is telling us that the Yetzer Hara is what?
Virtual reality.
Virtual reality. That's what he said. Lama zeh tishal l'shmi? We have no essence. It's whatever you conjure up in your mind. It's a figment of your imagination. That's the Yetzer Hara. And that is the message. Another explanation. The game plan of the Yetzer Hara. Lama zeh tishal l'shmi? If a person would remember his name Chava in Yahadut is what? My essence. Who am I? I'm a tzelem Elohim. I'm a chelik Elohai mimal. Then who would ever sin? So Lama zeh tishal l'shmi? Don't ask the name. Forget your essence. Forget that you're a godly soul. Forget you have a divine image inside of you. Because if you remember who you are, you'll never do a sin. So that's what the Yetzer Hara was telling us. Strange Rashi in yesterday's Parsha will tie it to Hanukkah. Yaakov brings his family across, and then he remembers he forgot some pachim ktanim, some small jars on the other side of the river. So he what? He goes back to fetch the pachim ktanim. And then he encounters Esav's the Yetzer Hara. What does he go back for the small jars for? He's a millionaire. He just sent Esav this huge gift, right, Larry?
550 animals.
How many? 550 animals, right? That's not chicken feed. So Lily, he forgets some small jars, so go to the drugstore and buy new jars. You go to what? The hardware store. Well, you go back for the jars, small jars. And how does it tie into what? To Chanuka. What's the message? Pachim Tanim. So I want to answer this question with what? Another question. Hanukkah is around the corner, right? How many days, Larry, is Hanukkah? 8. How many days was the miracle? 7. So why? Because there was enough oil for what? For one day. So the miracle is only what?
7.
So why have an 8-day yontif for a 7-day miracle? I know, an extra day to eat latkes. Or donuts. No, that can't be the reason, right? So the Beis Yosef asked this question, and this question has 100 answers. Again, Rabbi, you understand, Raphael? The miracle was only 7 days, so why have an extra day Yom Tov? Right? Another day for the donuts, no? So one answer is, the message of Hanukkah is that we celebrate not just the big ticket items. A little pach shemen was enough for one day burned for 8 days. But we need an extra day to celebrate the very fact that oil burns. Why should oil burn and vinegar shouldn't burn? That itself is a miracle. Why does oil burn and not vinegar? The message is that every event in life is special and unique. Even the pachim ktanim are special. The message is, Yaakov was teaching us the same message of Hanukkah. There are no pachim ktanim. It's all a miracle. All of life's moments are special and valuable. There is no pachim ktanim. See, so you get, I'm making a connection here. The extra day of Hanukkah is that even what we think is small potatoes. What's small potatoes, Yehuda? Oil burns. Is that a big deal? It's small potatoes, not small potatoes. Why does oil burn?
Because God said so.
That itself is a miracle. That deserves a day, an extra day. And that's the Pachim Ktanim. Yaakov was teaching us the Hanukkah miracle. There are no small potatoes in life. Everything that happens to us, every event is special and valuable and unique and rare. And we have to celebrate even what we think is Pachim Ktanim, even what we think is small moments in life is special. I think that's the message that Yaakov was teaching us. Go back and recapture the small moments of life. You got to squeeze every moment out of life, even from those moments that we think are what? Are small. Everything in life is big, not just the super big ticket items. I think that's the message. All of life is valuable, even what we think are small moments. The Medrash makes a strange comment. In Genesis 1, it says there was choshech al panei tehom. There was darkness on the face of the deep. The Medrash says, what's the symbol of darkness?
Candles light.
Grease. Yavan. So Larry is saying, we take light to dispel the darkness of Greece. Greece is total darkness. The candle of God, we are God's candle, lights up the darkness. Right? But I'm confused because the Gemara Megillah, page 8 says that a Sefer Torah can be written in Hebrew and in Greek.
English.
No, Larry, no. A Sefer Torah is kosher if it's written even in Greek. Voila. What? But I thought Greek is a symbol of darkness. Gets even stranger, Larry. Sota, page 49. See, that's the mile of studying Daf Yomi. Because in 7.5 years, Billy, you go through it all. Sota 49 says that in Eretz Yisrael, this guy tell us your Ilpan teacher. She'll like this. No. Look, Sota, page 49, that in Eretz Yisrael, if you can't speak Hebrew, you should speak what? Greek. So I don't understand. If Greece is a symbol of darkness, choshech, how come the Talmud in Megillah and Sota seems to say that it's what? That it's holy. You should speak Greek in the Eretz Yisrael, and if you can't write a Torah in Hebrew, you should write it in Greek.
Does that have to do with Noah?
What?
His sons?
So, Yefet is Greece, okay? So Yosef is on the right track. He's on the right track. The Gemara Megillah, page 9 says, there is beauty in Greece, but only if it's channeled to Kedusha. Yaftel Akim Yefet. God gives beauty to Yefet. V'yishkoin b'holo shame. But the beauty of Greece should be in the tents of shame. Who is shame? Us.
So she puts her pictures up in the tank.
Beauty in Greece, says Megillah 9. But only if it's channeled to what? To Kedusha. It's merged with Kedusha. And that's why the word for Israel is Tzion. Look at the Haftarah we read on Shabbos. Right? Bahar Tzion Tia Pleita. Har Tzion is another name for what? Eretz Yisrael. Why is Eretz Yisrael called Tzion? You just came to hear this. How do you spell Tzion? Tzadik, Yud, Vav, Nun. Tzadik, Yavan. Tzion is a combination, FBI, CIA, Tzion. Another name for Eretz Yisrael, look in Ovadia that we read this Shabbos, Larry. Tzion is a combination of Tzadik, Yavan. Tzadik, dash, Yavan. The tafkid of Yavan is to merge the Yavan together with what? With the Tzadik. And then you get Tzion. The beauty of Yavan merged with Tzadik is Tzion. What's the message here? Tzion is Eretz Yisrael, right, Chava? Eretz Yisrael, every physical act, walking the land of Israel. God tells Abraham, Kum et halech ba'aretz. Get up and take a walk. Every step you take in Israel is a mitzvah. You see a jogger, you should say, Yosef, mitzvah, mitzvah. Every step you take is a mitzvah. God tells Abraham. Every step you take is a mitzvah. You know what Eretz Yisrael's national bird is? The building crane.
That's good. That's real good.
Next time you're stuck in traffic, praise God. Eretz Yisrael is expanding by leaps and bounds. That's why you're stuck in traffic. There's all this building going on. This is Tzaddik Yavan. You're supposed to take the culture of Western civilization and high tech and merge it with the Tzaddik. And you get what? Zion, Eretz Yisrael. This is it. Eretz Yisrael. Everything, every physical act you do here is merged with what? With the spiritual. Every physical act in Eretz Yisrael becomes spiritual. You're merging Yavan with the Tzaddik, and you get Zion, Eretz Yisrael. So that's our tafkid, to sanctify the mundane, to merge the beauty of Yavan, Yud Vav Nun, with the Tzaddik. And that brings you to Zion. And that's exactly what we are doing. We're living the dream. We are living the dream. Baruch Hashem, we're living the dream. Amen. Every step you take in Eretz Yisrael is a mitzvah. Every time you build any, v'safta deganecha. There's an amazing verse in the book of Ruth. It says that Boaz, who was the chief rabbi and judge, left his office in Heichel Shlomo, and he went to winnow his grain. I need to know, Larry, that 3,000 years ago, Boaz, the chief judge and chief rabbi, left his fancy office, and he had many workers. He went to winnow his grain. Why is the Navi telling me that? Don't you have workers out there? Boaz was a rich man like Ben Cartwright, a big ponderosa, had many workers. And the Navi makes a point that he left his judgeship a couple of hours a day to winnow in the field. Why is that? And why tell me about it? Says the Khatam Sofer, he was Haredi, to teach that working the land of Israel is a mitzvah. So much so that the chief rabbi, imagine today, left his office in Heichel Shlomo Yehuda, and he went to work the field, to prove that working and building the land of Israel is what? Is a mitzvah. Not in Brooklyn, in Israel. Working in Israel is a mitzvah. And we have to know that. Isn't that amazing?
We weren't playing Israel.
Huh? So you have to know, Yehuda, mitzvah tichas kavana. When you work in Israel, Khatam Sofer, especially when you work in the land, or building, or planting, you're doing a mitzvah. V'safta ganecha. And therefore Boaz, the Navi has to tell me, he left his fancy office, and he went to work the field. Boaz.
Say Shabbos too, making Shabbos here. That's a bigger mitzvah too.
Everything in Eretz Yisrael is what? Is a bigger mitzvah, right? Everything in Eretz Yisrael. We say something very strange in the Al Hanisim. We thank God for the miracles, we thank God for the salvation and the redemptions, and we thank God for the battles. That's what it says in the Al Hanisim. I understand thanking God for what? The miracles and the salvation and the victories, but why do we thank God ala milchamot? So we mentioned that. We thank God for the victories and the salvation and the redemption and the victories. But why do we thank God specifically, Larry, for the battles themselves? Isn't that strange? Ala milchamot. The answer is, Raphael, it says by the menorah in Parshas Tetzaveh, katit lamor. The olives have to be crushed and beaten to shine. That's what it says by the menorah, Parsha Tetzaveh. When does the olive oil shine? After it's pounded, beaten, and crushed. So the Medrash says that's a symbol of what? Am Yisrael. We are that olive. Only when we're beaten and crushed then do we shine. Katit lamor. If you look back in life, it's called growing pains. The very fact that we go through battles in life, that makes us shine. If you look back in life, you never grow from easy moments. Spiritual growth, Chanoch, you know as well as I do, comes from the battles of life. We're beaten and crushed, and only then do we shine. That's not just the olive oil, but the menorah, that's the symbol of Am Yisrael. So we thank God for the battles as well. Pretty amazing. Only when the going gets tough can the tough get going or go shopping. It's up to us. So we thank God for the battles as well. Interesting. Bikesh Yaakov Leisha Bashalva ties in this week's Parsha Vayeshev Chava. Yaakov wanted to what? Rest in peace. That's what it says. Rashi said, Yaakov wanted to rest in peace. So all of a sudden he gets the tzoros of Yosef. So Rashi quotes the Chazal, the tzaddikim, they want to rest in peace in this world. So God said, in this world there is no rest for tzaddikim. The righteous have to go through hard times. Rest in peace is after 120. In this world you have to struggle and continue to battle, because only then can you shine. That's what Rashi said in this week's Parsha. Vayeshev Yaakov. So therefore we thank God for the Melchamos as well, for the battles as well. Plenty of time to rest in peace after 120. This world we have to struggle. Very interesting. Hanukkah, there seems to be a contradiction in the halacha. One place it says, Ner ishu beto. You have to light the Hanukkah candle where? In your house together with your family. And the other place says, forget about it. Petach beito bachutz. The candle should not be in your house with your family. It should be what? Outside. I'm mixed up, Larry. I'm mixed up. First you have to light your fire. First you have to illuminate your own soul and your mishpacha's soul. And then when you do that, then, Elisheva, you go outside and light other people's fire. First you've got to inspire and illuminate yourself and your mishpacha. And once you do that, you're ready to ignite someone else's fire. But it starts, ish ubeto. And then you're supposed to move, petach beito bachutz. Light my fire. First you light your fire, and only then are you ready to light somebody else's fire. So I think that's one of the messages of Hanukkah. One of the messages, right? Okay. Ma nishtana Hanukkah b'kol hachagim. Miriam, before you know it, it's Ma nishtana time. I don't want to scare you. I'm not making this up. Ma nishtana Hanukkah b'kol hachagim. Benjamin. The Rambam is very exact in his words. The Kesef Mishnah says you have to be medayik in a Rambam like in the Mishnah. Hanukkah, the Rambam says, mitzvah chaviva ad ma'od. It's the most precious mitzvah of all. Which is strange, Larry, because it's not even a Torah mitzvah. It's a rabbinic. And the Rambam doesn't use that language by any other mitzvah. Ma nishtana Hanukkah mikol hachagim. It's the only mitzvah, the Rambam says, mitzvah chaviva ad ma'od. It's the most precious mitzvah of all. Why? It's not even a Torah mitzvah. It's only rabbinic. So what makes it so precious? So the Rambam doesn't say why. It's a good thing he doesn't, otherwise I'd be unemployed. But that's the statement that he says. It's mitzvah chaviva ad ma'od, but he doesn't give us a reason.
It's the only mitzvah that was in Eretz Yisrael.
Beautiful. This gentleman stole my thunder. Ooh. Let's think. Beautiful. All the other chagim and all the other miracles took place where? The Exodus took place where? In Cairo. Cairo, right? Splitting the Red Sea, Midbar Sinai. Giving of the Torah, Midbar Sinai. Sukkot, Midbar Sinai. Purim, Iran. The only miracle And the only nest that took place here is what?
Hanukkah.
And that's why the Rambam, in our opinion, what is your name, sir?
Elliot.
Elliot, in my opinion, why the Rambam calls it the most precious mitzvah at all. It's the only mitzvah that took place in Eretz Yisrael. There is no other nest that took place here to commemorate a holiday.
So
You getting this, Yosef?
Why is the
Only Hanukkah, and therefore it's the most precious mitzvah.
So why is the book of Maccabees not in the?
Oh, that's a separate issue. That's next Sunday. That's a cliffhanger for next Sunday. I'm not joking. I'm going to have the book of Maccabees here. I'm going to hand it out. And you see, it reads just like Megillat Esther. That's amazing. So the $64 question is why it's not part of Tanakh and why there's no Mishnah for Hanukkah. It's the most precious mitzvah of all. Purim gets a whole tractate. The most precious mitzvah of all not only doesn't get a tractate, it doesn't even get what? One little Mishnah. What's going on? That's a cliffhanger. That's for next Sunday, 2 o'clock. Where was I? That's the next Sunday, okay? That's a good question. So that's one reason why Hanukkah is the most precious mitzvah. And just what Yosef said. Hanukkah is the only Yom Tov that it's not part of Tanakh. Your question. But I won't give the answer. That's next Sunday. But I just want to point out, Chava, Hanukkah is the only Yom Tov that doesn't have Tanakh. All the other Yom Tovim are in Tanakh. Even Purim is part of Tanakh, Megillah Esther. Hanukkah is the only Yom Tov that we have that is not in Tanakh. And the answer will wait till next week. But I just want to, but why? So why such a precious mitzvah? It's not even Tanakh. So I think I know why. I think I know why. The other Yom Tovim are written on animal skin. Tanakh is animals, parchment. Hanukkah, I've got you under my skin. Hanukkah is written on my godly soul. The Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. We are God's candles. So Hanukkah doesn't have animal skin. It has something better. Hanukkah is written on my godly soul. Isn't my godly soul refoil more precious than parchment? Ner, it's a pasuk in Mishlei. Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. Why do you light a candle for a yortzeit? The candle of God is what? The soul of a human being. The Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. So the Hanukkah miracle is written on my neshama. Ner Hashem, the candle of God, is Nishmat Adam, is the soul of what? Human being. The candle and the flame. The candle, you ever take a candle, turn it upside down? You ever tried, Yosef? The flame will what? You hold the candle upside down, the flame will go up. That's a symbol of the human being. The wax melts, the body decomposes, but the flame will always what? Rise up.
Wow.
We are not the wax. We are the God, the flame, the eternal soul, the eternal flame, the eternal soul, which cannot be distinguished. We are God's eternal flame. We are God's endless light that cannot be distinguished.
Or extinguished.
Extinguished, right? So that's the reason why Hanukkah is what? The most precious mitzvah of all, because it's written not on parchment, Bainish, it's written on my neshama. That's why you light a candle, which represents the godly soul. The eternal flame. I have another reason, Larry. I'm not going to give up. There are 70 reasons for everything. Another reason why Hanukkah is the most precious mitzvah. If you count the letters in the 10 Commandments in Parshas Yisro, the Baal Turim did it without a computer. There's 620 letters there, which represents 620 is gematria what? Keter. Keter. Why does the 10 Commandments have 620 letters, which is gematria Keter? Says the Baal Turim, each letter represents what? A mitzvah. There's 613 Torah mitzvahs, but there's 7 rabbinic mitzvahs. So even the rabbinic mitzvahs, Benjamin, are represented by a letter in what? Aseret HaDibrot, which sums up the whole Torah. So therefore, the 10 Commandments have 620 letters, 613 Torah, plus 7 rabbinic. The rabbinic mitzvahs are to make an eruv in order to carry on Shabbos, netilas yadayim before you eat bread, making brachot besides benching is rabbinic. Number 4 is to read the Megillah, all the Purim laws. Number 5 is to say Hallel on Yom Tov. Number 6 is Nerot Shabbat. And number 7, what's the last of the rabbinic mitzvahs historically? Hanukkah. It completes the Keter. Chava. Achron Chaviv. That's why the Viennese table comes at the end of the wedding, not at the first. At the end of a 7-course meal, they bring out the Viennese table, and the people attack the table like they haven't eaten in 3 days. It's coming from a 7-course meal. But you see those fancy cream cakes, they all charge. How come it doesn't come at the beginning of the meal? Saving the best for last. So my humble opinion, therefore the Rambam calls Hanukkah the most precious mitzvah because it completes the Keter. Keter's Gematria Yehuda, 620, the crown.
I have another reason why.
Well, and that's why we know Achron Chaviv, saving the best for last. And the Rambam makes a strange halacha. Please sit down. Oh, Yosef hit a home run. There's halacha, the Gemara in Ksubas, page 50. See, if you study Daf Yomi, you get to know. Ksubas, page 50 tells us that a person is not permitted to spend more than 20% of his total income on any positive mitzvah. Should I repeat that? If any mitzvah is going to set you back more than 20% of your total income, you're not obligated to do that mitzvah. If the tefillin will cost me more than 20% of my total assets, I don't have to buy tefillin. If the matzah or the lulav or any positive mitzvah will cost me more than 20%, I'm not allowed to do the mitzvah. What? But Hanukkah is the exception, says Rambam, Hanukkah is the exception. There, even a person has no money, he's supposed to go begging to buy candles. Rambam, say what? It's not even a Torah mitzvah. For a Torah mitzvah, you're not supposed to spend more than 20%. And here the Rambam says, but the mitzvah of Hanukkah, which is only rabbinic, if you don't have, not only have to spend all your money, but if you don't have money, you're supposed to go begging, which is not true by any other mitzvah. Why is that? What's the miracle we're celebrating? More than the burning candles. The Jewish people have survived for centuries. We are God's candles. That's the greatest miracle of all, despite Hitler and Arafat the rat and all the pogroms and the persecutions. We're still burning. We have the eternal flame. We're still here. That's the greatest miracle of all. That's worth begging on the doorsteps. To publicize the miracle of Jewish survival against all odds. That is so important. If a person who has no money is obligated to go begging even. That's the greatest miracle, that we are God's candles. We are God's eternal flame. And our candle can never be extinguished despite all the anti-Semites. We shine on. We all shine on. We all shine. That's the great miracle of Hanukkah that we're celebrating. And we are what? Publicizing. Now, there are no coinky-dinkies. The Parsha of Yosef's dream and Pharaoh's dream and the butler and the baker dream always comes out when, Benjamin? Hanukkah. Coinky-dinky? Well, always around Hanukkah time. Right? Yosef's dreams, Pharaoh, the butler, the baker, always comes out around. What is the dreams of Brother Joe and Pharaoh and the butcher and the butcher and the baker and the candlestick maker? What does it got to do with Hanukkah? That we read it after this time of year.
Shabbos Mekates.
What's the connection? Shabbos Parshas Mekates and Vayeshev always falls out Hanukkah time. What's the connection to Hanukkah? I'm glad you asked. First, Yosef has his own dream. Dream a little dream of me. Next, he interprets the butlers and the baker. Then finally, Pharaoh's dream. The first time when he has his dreams, It says Vayisaper. He tells over the dreams, no comment. He's totally passive. Then by the butler and the baker, he interprets the dream. And then by Pharaoh, not only does he interpret the dream, but he's proactive. He says, I'm part of the solution. You got to make me food czar. Looks like Yosef's dream development course. Yosef's dream development course.
Graduated.
What's got to do with Hanukkah? By Paro, Yosef takes an active role and reacts to the dreams. Appoint me food czar. Otherwise you're finished. Let's look at the text. When Yosef tells his own dreams to the brothers, it says Vayisaper. He tells it over, he doesn't react, doesn't do anything, and he doesn't mention God's name not even once. When his own dream, when he tells over the dream, and it just says Vayisaper, no activity on his part, he just tells it over passively, he doesn't mention God's name not even once. When he interprets the butler and the baker's dream, he mentions God's name once. But when he becomes more active in Pharaoh's dream, not just does he interpret, but he's proactive and says, I have the solution, I'm going to do it for you, Yosef keeps repeating God's name again and again. Why? But his own dream doesn't mention God at all. In the butler and the baker dream, he mentions God once. But by Pharaoh's dream, where he not just interprets, but he's proactive, there he keeps repeating Hashem's name over and over again. That even Pharaoh says, is anybody like this guy who knows God's mind? The pagan Pharaoh mentions God, because Yosef keeps what? Mentioning God over and over again. What's the message? How does it connect to what? Hanukkah. What's the message? Says the great Daf Soloveitchik. The more active you are in your life, the more you're proactive, the more you can see the Yad Hashem. The more you are active in doing and helping yourself, the more you see God's hand. The more active you are, the more Hashem is active in your life too. It's midah keneged midah. King David says, Hashem tzilcha, God is your shadow. Why is God my shadow? Says the Baal Shem Tov, a shadow acts like you do. If you are active, your shadow, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachol, is active. Hashem is our shadow. Says Rav Soloveitchik, Nes Hanukkah is a manifestation of this very same idea. Why we read these dreams of Hanukkah? Only when the Maccabees made an active, bold, and brave military revolt, only then did God what? Help them. Overcome impossible odds, like the 6-Day War. Only when the Maccabees took the initiative and took the fight against all odds, only then did God display unbelievable miracles. The 6-Day War. Miracles should be miracles. But Moshe Feinstein Zatzal said that the 6-Day War was miracles greater than Hanukkah. Shall I repeat that? But Moshe Feinstein said that the 6-Day War was a greater military victory than Hanukkah. Greater than this. But if the Jews would not have gotten into the Phantom jets and bombed the Egyptian airfields, would God do the miracle? No. Only when the Maccabees took the initiative and revolted, only when the IDF bombed the airfields against all odds, only then did God display supernatural miracles. So the message of the dreams, when Yosef doesn't interpret the dream, when he's passive by his own dream, he doesn't mention God's name at all. But when he becomes proactive in Pharaoh's dream, and doing, I'm going to do it for you, he keeps mentioning Hashem over and over again. Because God only helps those who help themselves. What a message of Pharaoh's dream, Yosef's dream, Hanukkah, the 6-Day War. You know, I read this in Time magazine, it must be true. All the wars are studied in West Point, except the 6-Day War. The 6-Day War, Lillian, is not studied in West Point because they say it just doesn't make any sense. It's too fantastic. Greater than the Nes Hanukkah. Hashem only helps those who help themselves. That's the message of Yosef, Hanukkah, and the dreams. So who is the heroine? So we say the Maccabees are the heroes, right? But who's the real heroine of the Hanukkah story? Yehudit. It's Yehudit. Who talks about her? I think she's the unsung heroine of Hanukkah. Everybody knows about Esther, but Tosfot and Psachim and Rashi and Psachim, they tell us about this Yehudit, the sister of the Chashmonaim. There was an evil decree that every Jewish bride had to submit to the Greek general. Yehudis is getting married, and her Maccabee brothers are there, and the Greek soldiers are coming to drag her away to have sex with the Greek general. She says, "What's with you guys? Hello? Defend my honor. Look what Shimon and Levi did for Dinah."
Last week's Parsha.
Right? Yesterday's reading, what Shimon and Levi did for Dinah. So she shamed her brothers into taking action. They jumped the Greek soldiers. They killed the Greek soldiers. They freed the sister. And that was the catalyst that started what? The Hanukkah revolt. It was Yehudis, who's being dragged away on a wedding night to submit to the Greek general. She shamed her brothers. You guys are powerful guys, 5 guys, Maccabees. Where is your courage? Display courage like Shimon and Levi did for Dinah.
No,
and this,
Parsha is before Hanukkah.
that's right. So this egged them on into what? Jumping the palace guard and freeing her sister, and then Mi Hashem La'alai. But that was, how do you say in English, the catalyst, Billah. She was the incident, just like Esther was the catalyst of Purim. Yehudis, I don't think she gets enough credit. She is the catalyst that forced the brothers to take up arms against impossible odds. But if it wasn't for her, forget about it. And if the Maccabees wouldn't have acted, God would not have acted. That's the message. We've got to push the buttons. We've got to be proactive, Chava. Who taught us that? Yosef and the Maccabees. Only when you're proactive is God proactive in your life. But if you sit like this, it's not going to happen. What a message. What a message. God shows his miracle with the shaman. So the Ramban wonders, the entire temple service was canceled. Ruti. There was no ketores. There was no korban tamid. There was no lechem upon him. There was nothing. So why did God choose to make the miracle with the oil? Incense is a higher service than menorah, says Ramban. There was no incense either. So why didn't God make hocus pocus incense appear? Why dafke shemen? Shemen is an acronym. FBI. Shabbos Mila Nida. Which 3 mitzvahs did the Greeks make it capital punishment to observe? Shemen. Shabbat, Mila Nida. What's the acronym? Yosef. Shemen. If you want to sum up the entire Jewish religion in one acronym, it's not FBI, it's Shemen. Shabbat is Kedushas Hazman. Mila v'Nida is Kedushas Haguf. That's Judaism. The purpose of Judaism is to sanctify time, which Shabbos represents, or to sanctify the body, which is what? Bris Milah and Taharas HaMishpacha. That's Yahadut. The idea is over here that God was testifying. The Maccabees were not fighting for glory. They weren't fighting for spoils or honor. It was the original holy war. Yosef, the first holy war. It was a war for Shemen. Shabbat, Kedushas Hazman, Mila Nida, Kedushas Haguf. Mokum too, because the lady has to go to the mikvah. You can't take a bath. Chanoch. Nida, she cannot take a shower. She has to go to the mokum mikvah. Beautiful, Chanoch. Thank you for reminding me. Kedushas Mokum too, because the Kedushas Haguf is not in the bathtub. The woman must go to a mikvah. Otherwise, it's useless. So that's the mokum, the mikvah. So that's Yahadut. So God chose the miracle by Hashem and Yehuda to testify that it was not a war for spoils or honor or booty. It was a war for what? Shemen. That's Yahadut. The first holy war, Larry, in history. The first holy war. This was the first holy war. Shabbat Mila Nida. To defend the Jewish religion from what? Extinction. If they can get rid of Shabbos Mila Nida, that's Yahadut. That's it. Now the Talmud says that the candles have to burn at shetichla regel min ashuk. Literally means until the foot stops walking in Machne Yehuda. Why not just say until Ben Adam stops walking? At shetichla regel min ashuk. Until the regel stops walking in the shuk. Isn't the regel attached to the foot bone, attached to the... Why not say until a person stops walking? What's regel min ashuk? Now we come full circle. Regel's from the Hebrew hergel. What does hergel mean?
Habit.
Routine.
Habit.
The candle has to burn until you get rid of the routine. There is no pachim kitanim. There is no small potatoes in life. There is no regel. English word regular? Nothing is regular. It's all what? Supernatural. Even what we think is regular. Even what we think is small jars. There ain't no such thing, Elisheva. It's all super duper special. It's all special. It all has significance. Get rid of the regel. That regular mindset, that routine. The candles have to burn until you get rid of that hergel. There is no such thing as regular routine. What we think is small items, it's really a big item. Because every moment in life is special, unique, and important. And it's what? Not small. It's not regel. There is no hergel. It's all nisim. The extra day Hanukkah. Why should oil burn and vinegar shouldn't burn? Remember the story of Chanuka Mendoza's daughter, remember? On a short Shabbos, she got mixed up at Friday. Instead of putting oil in, she put vinegar in, remember? Very hectic. Shabbos is 4 o'clock. So she, Gemara and Tainus tells the story, right? You learn Daf Yomi, you get... Right? Tainus 24. So she said, Abba, oy, she began to cry. I put vinegar instead of oil. She says, my dear daughter, the one who commanded oil to burn can what? And burn, baby, burn. It burned the whole till Matzah Shabbos. Vinegar doesn't usually burn. Oil does. That's also a big ticket item. There is no hergel. There is no regular routine. Get that out of your juke barosh. The candles have to burn until you get rid of that juke from the rosh.
So the candles are another thing to add to this, the candles that we light.
That's what you're supposed to think about. That there is no routine in life. Everything is special. Everything is unique and has immense value. Choshuv. There is no pachim ktanim. Hello? That's Father Jacob and Chanuka.
Lighting a candle isn't
right.
anything special. We do that on Shabbos.
Yeah, but Shabbos is a different reason why you light. Shabbos you do for Shalom Bayis. Here you do to publicize the miracle of the eternal flame. Who's God's eternal flame? We are. Now the Medrash Rabbah says something strange, Billah. The Yevonim are very smart people. They made a gzera, kisva keren ashor, right on the horns of the ox, she'ein lehem chelik b'lehei Yisrael. That you Jews have no portion in the God of Israel. God of Israel doesn't exist for you. Why write it on the horns of an ox? I can understand a bumper sticker in your window, but why write it on the horn of an ox? That you have no shaykhs to the God of Israel. Chava. What was the school bus 2,200 years ago? What was the school van? How did the kids look at the ox? Villian, that was the school van. The school bus, the kids rode to Cheder on the back of an ox. So when the yellow ox, so they should brainwash them. You have no share in the God of Israel, Kinderlach. You hear this? The bumper sticker on the school bus, the ox, to brainwash the kids. To Hellenism. Also, Karen, what's Karen mean? Horn. 2,200 years ago, how did the kids drink milk? There was no plastic bottles, Lillian. They drank of the Karen. That was the baby bottle. So the little baby is drinking from the baby bottle, the Karen. You should read, you have no shaykhus to the God of Israel. The evil genius of the Greeks. On the school bus, which was the ox, and on the baby bottle, which was the horn of the ox. That's what they kept liquid, and they drank from the horn of an ox to brainwash the kids. That's incredible. That was the Greeks. Where are the Greeks today, Chava? 60 feet of sand, right? But we're still here.
All Greek to me.
Right? It's all Greek to me. They're gone with the wind. But we're still here. The message of Hanukkah is to get fired up. Light my fire. I've seen the light. Daniel, I've seen the light. Who is the light? It's my godly soul. That burns eternally. Cannot be extinguished. Besides Hitler and Arafat and Abu Mamzer, that's the greatest miracle of all. Our eternal soul which burns forever. There's an amazing Rambam. The Rambam says, in the Bet HaMikdash, who lights the menorah? Gabriel. Cohen, right? But the Rambam says if the Cohen prepares the menorah and he takes it outside into the courtyard, a Jew cannot enter the temple building. The Rambam writes, if the Cohen prepares the wicks and takes the menorah from the building outside in the courtyard, any Jew can light it. Very strange Rambam. I thought the avodah can only be done by whom? Cohen. Ma nishtana, lighting the menorah. That the Rambam says that any Jew can light it, which is not true by any other temple service. What's the answer? Every Jew becomes Cohen for a day. Not a Cohen, not queen for a day. A Cohen for 8 days. All of us become virtual Cohanim for 8 days a week.
A year anyway.
We have the koach to get fired up and inspire in others. So the Rambam is telling a tremendous halacha. Even though all the other temple service is only kosher by a Kohen, but he says the menorah, incredibly, can be lit by every Jew. Because every Jew has the koach to what? To light his flame and light someone else's flame. We all become virtual Kohanim for 8 days a year. Do you know that?
Even women?
Even women. It's a mitzvah on women, just like men, to light the menorah. Women have the same mitzvah, because all miracle happens for women, even though it's a time-bound mitzvah. The halach is women have to light the candles, because they were instrumental, just like by Purim. Yehudit, just like Esther, right? It's amazing. We become virtual Kohanim for 8 days a year, and our living room becomes a virtual Beis HaMikdash, Yosef. Virtual reality.
For more of Rabbi Sprecher's teachings, visit rabbisprecher.com.